I, in my short career in your industry, during my college days, I remember doing maintenance, and I guess some facilities hold up better than others, but how has the Greenway held up maintenance-wise, and from you guys having to manage it every day? So how has that been? I assume there's not a great deal to do unless you're obviously you're maintaining the grounds and repairing the surface, right?
First of all, we're fortunate. Luke Danley is our grounds maintenance supervisor
Right.
for the city of Mount Airy, and himself and his amazing staff that he has, they take care of all of our outdoor park facilities, all of the horticultural and beautification efforts with the city of Mount Airy. And there is, litter pickup along the trail. There
Right.
are, of course, mowing that takes place weekly through there. And then, we have had, with some flooding and stuff over time, that's probably some of our largest maintenance issues, is when the water gets up at an extremely high level to where there's some cleanup efforts after that.
Absolutely. Todd Ducker wrote, love the Greenway, was walking on it last night, great asset. I agree, Todd. And Jessica Roberts shares that we're lucky to have such an amazing asset in our city, and the visitors are always surprised to find out about places like Chase and Charlie's where they can eat and then see the Greenway and the river, also, and the option to walk on it when they're in the town visiting. So Denise Watson, it's good to see you, Denise. Obviously, she said very excited about the project, and as we are as well for the extension. John Tarn out in Palo Mountain said, fantastic place to fish and ride bikes. Will the rivers be stocked with trout the whole length? Was John's question.
Yes, they will be. And that's a great question, John. We are so fortunate with these river restoration efforts. The Ararat River, they used to be on the bad list with the state of North Carolina and North Carolina Fish and Wildlife because of all the amount of sediment that was being dumped into the river each year due to all the erosion that was taking place.
Wow.
Now, from Riverside Park all the way down to Carter Street, there at the Big Lots area, all of that now is delayed harvest through North Carolina Fish and Wildlife. They are stocked, along with the Lovell's Creek is actually stocked now as well. We are known now, the Ararat River part is known as some of the better trout fishing waters in the state of North Carolina. We have individuals that come from all over the state. If you're a user of the Greenway, you'll see a lot of anglers in the water.
Oh, yeah.
There's a group out of Winston-Salem called Trout Unlimited. They actually have adopted the Ararat River. They come up throughout the year. Usually they do 4 river sweeps for us. We inherit a lot of debris from up north, tires, trash, and stuff within the river. And we have a group out of Winston-Salem that actually helps us maintain the river and clean up that debris.
That's great. Well, I'm a fisherman too, so I'm glad to hear about the fishing. Glenn Delaney mentioned the question, as well as Andy is here. What are the future plans for connecting the loop all the way around? Is there a plan to utilize street sidewalks to close that loop?
Yes, that is in our long-term plans. After we get all the way up to Jones Elementary School after phase 5, our goal is to do an actual loop to be able to connect back over to the Veterans Park side, would be to go up Old Spring Street and down Gray Street to Lebanon to make the actual connected loop. And it would be, an extended large sidewalk, a 10-foot path, just like the Greenway, going up Old Springs, down Grace to Lebanon to make that loop.
Yeah, Chad Tidd mentions any anticipated timeline for the next phase?
Of course, with this phase, if all goes well, with the easement acquisitions that's taking place right now, the river restoration efforts will probably start early fall of this year for the river restoration.
Right.
And within those grants and the Parks and Recreation Trust Fund grants, all of that have to be completed within a 3-year timeline. But if all goes well, we think it would be in less than 2 years that we would have everything completed.
And Pat Gwynn asks, will the future work on the riverfront help with the flooding? The possibility for flooding.
It will help some. It's not going to solve the problem, but a little bit of what we can do on the northern end might help some. A lot of times, parks and greenways, they're known to get property along the floodway and floodplain areas.
Right.
And of course, majority of that, all of this is in the floodplain, and that's where greenways and stuff are usually developed, along those ways. It's not going to be a perfect fix, but I think it will help a little, but we'll still have some of those challenges.
Steve Yoakley mentioned, we appreciate Commissioner Yoakley being on this video chat as well. Thank you, Steve. He mentioned a friend who was riding a bike on the Greenway one recent Sunday afternoon, told me that he counted over 225 people on the Greenway while he was riding one way. That didn't count all the fishermen, the women, and others that all along the Ararat River and Lovell's Creek. And you and I were just talking about before we started about, how in the world do you count? You have all these entrances, but does that sound about the right number? You said you've seen numbers higher than that on the Greenway, right?
That is, Mr. Yoakley, that's an interesting fact that you brought. Mitch Williams, the city engineer, was telling me, I guess it was about 2 weeks ago, he rode the Greenway and he counted 267 individuals, and that was including the anglers in the water within that one-way path, that 6.6 mile direction. My ADD would not allow me I would lose count there within that. I would have to be starting over multiple times. But he counted 267 people when he was riding his bike along the way. So if you think about that, that's amazing. With the challenges that we're dealing with as a community and as a nation with the coronavirus, there's no question the Greenway opportunities have increased tremendously. And no question, I think it has made it so apparent that outdoor recreation is more essential than ever, because it is it's providing a physical and a mental release for many individuals with some of the challenges that we're dealing with. So we appreciate everyone being user-friendly on the trail. Majority of everyone does really, really well with that. It's a shared trail. On any given day, you'll see a walker, biker, a parent fishing a child in a stroller. And again, you'll see fishermen. As weather is getting warmer, you'll see a lot of people taking part in swimming in the river as well.
So I think you mentioned to me that this grant application's coming up, the deadline's coming up fairly quickly. Is there anything that this group or the chamber can do to assist you? Do you need letters, emails of support, or is there anything that we can do? Because obviously the people on this call I can see are supporters of the Greenway, and as all of us are really. Anything that we can do to help your effort, or moving forward, anything that we can do to support the Greenway?
Absolutely. On Tuesday, we'll be having 2 public meetings, be very similar to what you're hearing today. At Tuesday at 10 o'clock and 10 a.m. and then 6 p.m. there'll be a public meeting that we'll be having. We'd love for y'all to chime in on that. Also at that meeting, there will be a survey link that we'll be asking for. We'll be hosting these meetings on WebEx and Facebook Live on Tuesday, and it will have the survey link. We'll be sharing that survey link on the City of Mount Airy's Facebook and Mount Airy Parks and Recreation's Facebook, along with their Twitter pages. We would love for everyone to fill out those surveys. It should take you about 2 to 3 minutes. I think there's 12 questions, just talking about how you value outdoor recreation, greenway usage, the expansion of greenways, and even there's some questions on there of how are you viewing outdoor recreation opportunities now compared to prior to the COVID-19, if you feel that they are more essential. And that will be some data that we'll be sharing with the state, and they love to get feedback from the community. So the more surveys that we can get turned in will just assist us with possibly being selected as a recipient of the Parks and Recreation Trust Fund